Hi, my name is Pam and I'm here with Olga. We're here today to talk about Olga's recent journey through our healthcare system here in Canada, the challenges she faced, and the important information in which she's going to share with us today. Olga, welcome. Can you please share with us the journey that you went through in receiving your cancer diagnosis, the challenges that you faced, and the actual diagnosis that you were given?
Sure. Yeah, I am very happy to share this story with everyone because I think people could learn a lot of information and just all the should do, shouldn't do that I learned on this journey. There is lots of that, so I think this information will be very helpful. I also hope that also people may feel compelled to contribute to the cause, because this cause needs help, and I'm not even talking only about myself. So yeah, how it started. It started in year 2010, where I, one morning, literally woke up and I just had this thought that I have cancer, uterine cancer. It wasn't any big deal as far as the symptoms go. So, but I know that my intuition didn't let me down. What let me down is me listening to my intuition, as we will see. So I'll share my story further. Yeah, so I went to get checked by the doctors. I saw my family doctor. He ran all the tests. All the tests are the blood work, is the ultrasound. And as I learned later, it doesn't show anything. It really doesn't show whether you have a condition or you don't. So that's the only thing they did, and he sent me home, said I'm fine. So it was, I guess I had a bad dream. But then for 7 years after that time, the symptoms kept returning and they kept worsening, and I kept going from doctor to doctor. And what I found, a few things that are, I think, really wrong as far as how our healthcare system works in general. Unfortunately, it's not one doctor that made a mistake. It's the system that completely failed me, and I am sure failed many others. I am positive because I heard many stories like that. So, family doctor sends you to emergency. That's what I asked, what do? I have these symptoms. Oh, go to emergency room. Then emergency room does the same thing. They do the blood work, then they did ultrasound, and then they send me back. And I was asking before being released, what do? I still have the symptoms. Well, go back to your family doctor. So family doctor sends you to emergency sends you to the family doctor, and then to get to see specialist, it took me, I believe, about over a year.
Wow. Because
they didn't think anything is urgent, everything is fine. Yeah, I also insisted, well, apparently not strongly enough, to be tested for tumor markers. But my family doctor told me, yes, we can do this, but I don't think there is a need, because first of all, it may not necessarily show the condition. Secondly, you don't have it, don't worry. Then I get to see the specialist. I also ask again for the tumor markers, and I'm talking about the time frame of 7 years. It's a lot of years. And there's the same route: family doctor, emergency, then specialist was included in that. In emergency, they did CT scan, but without contrast. And because CT scan, as I learned later, why would that not show? It just shows the density of the tissue. That's how they basically, look at the scan. Right. And everybody is different, so that's why they inject the dye. And they didn't.
Oh, why didn't they?
That's a very good question. Why didn't they do this in emergency? And send me back to family doctor. So that was that, going like this. Then finally in 2016 I put more pressure, or tried, on my family doctor, which resulted in him sending me to the psychiatrist.
Really? A psychiatrist?
The psychiatrist, yes.
That seems strange.
Yeah, well, he kept saying that everything is fine, and the specialist, the gynecologist who he sent me to, also said it was fine. Based on what? Based on ultrasound only and the blood work. But that's, yeah, like I said, to me it's really a complete failure of the healthcare system, because that is not diagnosed with these tests, as I now know. But first you listen, I guess, in your ignorance, plus we all want to have the good news.
You want to trust that
your
physicians are doing the best they can for you.
Yeah, and you know, they have 5 or 10 minutes for you, but that also doesn't help. Sometimes they don't even look at you, they look at your file and they send you, you know, further either to a specialist or to get blood work.
Right.
Yeah, so I was sent to a psychiatrist.
And so from there, how did you finally receive the diagnosis of having cancer?
Well, after my visit to psychiatrist, I guess sometimes you have to get angry at yourself. I was just got really angry at myself that I am going along with this, that I am not taking responsibility, which is one of my messages that I want to share with everybody, that you know, doctors may fail you, system may fail you, but we all have to be in charge of this. This is our body, this is our life, and only we are in charge of that.
Right.
So it doesn't matter who says what, we have to keep insisting, especially knowing the shortbacks and shortcomings of the system that we are in. So yeah, I got really angry at myself, and I came out of this office. A psychiatrist, I have to say, just had quite arrogant personality, but I needed that. It helped me to get really angry. So I came out with the decision that I'm going to proceed with that to the very end, that I'm going to require all the tests. Since my family doctor had been refusing for years, based on my depression, anxiety, and some other things that he thought I have, he was refusing to send me to do the blood work for the tumor markers. So I just went to walk-in clinic and asked the walk-in doctor if we can test the tumor markers. He asked why. I said, well, I just am not feeling that great. Just why don't we check that? I guess he doesn't know me, so he didn't have any preconceived ideas,
Sure.
which was great. So he tested the tumor markers, and the test came back that they were about 700 times higher than normal.
Really?
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah, that was bad. So they immediately phoned me, and at the same time I still said I'm going to have a biopsy and, if necessary, investigative surgery.
Sure.
This time I'm going to the end with this, because something is wrong.
You knew it.
So
you felt it.
I knew it for I've known it for 7 years. You know, based on the symptoms and just based on, I don't know, some inner knowing. We should trust. We know our body. We live in it. We should trust our bodies. We shouldn't discard what we feel.
Absolutely.
You know, it doesn't matter who tells you you're crazy or depressed. Yeah.
You know your body best.
Pretty much, yes. We do. We just don't listen to our body, is what I think. Yeah, yeah, so then they immediately did biopsy finally.
Yeah.
And then that's when it revealed, the cat came out of the bag, that I had stage 4, and they said grade 2. Wow. Which turned out to be grade 3. Grade means how aggressive the cells are.
Right.
So, meaning how fast, I guess, your body will be consumed, and also how fast you have to act at the same time. Yeah. So.
And so what was the doctor's prognosis? He told you the diagnosis was stage 4, grade 2. And what did they say would be your treatment options from this point?
Only palliative, meaning there is no cure at this stage. They missed it. And yeah, I remember I came back to that gynecologist that I've been seeing for over 2 years with all these tests. And I looked her in the eye and I asked, what's that?
Wow, and what was her response?
What her response was, oh, it's very confusing. I think I was very confused. That's just quote unquote quote her response.
Wow.
She was confused. Yeah. So the prognosis from oncologist, to which to who she referred me was only palliative chemotherapy, as much as I can take it. Even though oncologist told me that in this situation he doesn't think it's going to work. So at this stage and with this type of cells, chemotherapy doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, but they will give it because that's the protocol, then radical surgery, and in towards radical surgery, for me, in my case, meant I'm losing huge parts of my bowel, my rectum, my spleen, of course, all reproductive system. And then they said, and then I asked, and how do you function? And he said, we're going to give you a bag. So that's the concept of radical surgery. And I mean, I'm sure there are situations like that. Perhaps after accidents, I don't know, but I have to say it's not the cancer situation.
Right.
It absolutely is not, and I really want to share that. You cannot cut it out. It's a disease of the immune system.
Right.
You can suppress it working in a more, locally where the site of the tumor is, but you don't have to lose your organs.
Wow. So you heard this very devastating news.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously you're here today. What did you do when you walked away? You didn't you didn't roll over and listen to that oncologist.
Well, my first reaction, of course, was shock.
Yeah.
And the first thing I did is I asked for the lethal injection, because that wasn't an option for me to go through all this with no results. And, then after that, it's not really life.
No.
Plus, they said palliative means it's like, as far as we can stretch it, basically. Mm-hmm. Stretch what's suffering, I'm not sure. So that was my first reaction, but to that the doctor said that I don't qualify for lethal injection because there are protocols to be followed. I first have to go through treatment, palliative but still treatment, and then they may consider it. So that wasn't an option, because it was my first thought. That's my option.
Yeah.
To go gracefully, at least.
Mm-hmm.
I think we all want that.
Absolutely.
Right? Yes.
Yes,
I
we
think
do.
So yeah, it's not really worth it. So then my second thought was, okay, I need to calm down and I need to figure it out. I don't believe that's the only option.
Right.
Let me see what's going on in the world. So with that, who does what? What are the treatment options? So I started doing research. It was my husband on that, and we found many clinics and things, and I have to say there are very suspicious things and clinics. So that is also hard to navigate. On internet there are things that are true and work, mm-hmm. and then there is tons of stuff that doesn't have any credibility whatsoever. So it's hard to navigate it, especially, they told me I had from a few weeks to a few months.
Oh wow.
Depending. So
you...
if do nothing, because I asked the oncologist, okay, and if I don't do anything, and that's what he said. But if I do something, I still have a few months.
So you had to search the internet and really go through the options in a short amount of time.
Yeah, we have I think we did it in the matter of less than a week.
Wow.
I talked to doctors all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you internet and thank you phones, you can call and you can talk. And we found this German clinic that works with cases like this, works with cancer. Not cases like this, works with cancer. Unfortunately, very advanced cancers find this as the last resort, I guess. But you can work with any type of cancer. They take a different approach. First of all, they are against radical surgeries, because according to their research, the more you cut it, the more it grows. It doesn't like being disturbed. To me, it is, I don't know, I think of mushrooms in my backyard. It's a strange, idea. So the more you mess with that, the more you cut it, the more aggressively it grows. It's the same concept. It's a fungus. It has viral and fungal nature. So they don't do any radical surgeries. They zoom into where the tumors are and then do treatments. Yeah.
Well, that makes so much sense when you explain it in that analogy of the mushroom. So you spoke to the German hospital and they said, yes, we can treat you?
Yes, they said, yes, we can treat you. I sent all of the medical information and the CT scan and my tumor markers and everything. And they said, yes, we can treat you. You don't have... How did he write that? This patient doesn't have a lot of time, but has some. So
a nice way.
So you know,
saying,
so
hurry
quickly. Up,
yeah.
Get there quickly.
Yeah.
So it, yeah, there was lots of help down the road because the treatments cost a lot of money. So I had lots of support from wonderful people that sent me there. So that was an alternative to lethal injection. You either do something or you go, but going through this makes me so sad that people die in Canada without treatments like this.
Yeah.
People don't even know this exists. Let's say in case of breast cancer, it doesn't have to be advanced stage 4. You can, you know, avoid mastectomy. Because
wow.
you treat the site, you treat the breast, you treat where the tumors are instead of cutting it out.
That's amazing. So when you went to Germany, can you share with us the amount of time it took to put your cancer into remission and how many treatments it took?
Well, my case was really advanced, plus as they did another biopsy, they discovered it wasn't grade 2, it was grade 3. So this, again, this is the aggressiveness of the cells. So while I was in Germany, my tumor markers doubled in just one week. Yes, in 1 week. So they were around 2,000, where the normal is 8.
Wow.
Just 8, yeah. So it's so there were hundreds, then thousands. Yeah. So basically, answering the question of how many treatments, typically what they say you need from anywhere from 1 to 4, and with interval you have 2 and then interval and then 2 more typically, and then 4 takes care of that. 4 takes care of this. Sometimes people come back for more treatments in some very advanced cases in a few months, I guess. But typically the 4 treatments take care of this. In my case, I had all 4 treatments at once.
That's amazing that you were given a couple weeks to live and you went to Germany and found these amazing life-saving treatments. Now, with these treatments, is it something that our government pays for, or are you paying for it out of pocket?
Well, people that help me are paying because I don't have anything in my pocket. Money like that. The treatment costs 30,000 euro.
Wow.
And so multiply by 4. Plus extra days in hospital cost around 2,000 euro every day. So there are some money involved, yes.
Wow.
But I got some help, and I still would appreciate getting some. But I had 4 interventions at the same time. Yeah, government doesn't pay for this, which I think government should, for a simple reason. We don't have this in Canada. It's not alternative. I'm actually talking about allopathic treatment. I'm talking about oncology hospital in Germany. It's not naturopathic or alternative. It's mainstream medicine, but just much more advanced medicine, and we don't have it here. It's not anything experimental. In Germany, it's been over 25 years that they have been doing this.
Wow. Yeah. And I cannot believe we don't have it here.
Yeah, and I mean, if we don't have it here, I believe government should pay for things like that. Because here, my only scenario would be, well, death.
Yeah, and
in suffering.
suffering.
Not only death and suffering. Because I couldn't even get a lethal injection.
And so now you're back, you're successfully treated, you're here to spread the news. What do you want to tell people? What do you want people watching to hear?
Well, number one, we all are, I think, are not very proud of our healthcare system. It's overloaded. It's doctors don't have time. They are not diligent. They don't take the time, and it's became a norm. You know, you sit in emergency for 9 hours, and then doctor sees you for 10 minutes at the best, and it became normal. No, it's not normal. So healthcare system is something we all should be talking about loudly, and we all should be doing something about it. And we all should say it's not okay. Because it's not.
It's not.
It's not. So that's message that we cannot be silent anymore. People should be talking about this. Articles should be written. The government should not be comfortable, doing things the way they have been doing it. Clearly, I think it's a crisis of healthcare. Basically, is what it is.
Yeah.
If you can't get help in such a well-developed country, it's not a third world country, then it's a crisis of healthcare. So money is misplaced somewhere. That's one thing that we cannot be silent. We have to fight for our rights, for our right for a good healthcare.
Yeah.
And if we cannot get it here, government should pay for this to have it elsewhere.
Absolutely.
And it's not even a question here, unfortunately. And another message, of course, is doesn't matter what doctors did or didn't do. It's a responsibility of every person to take care of themselves, to insist.
Yeah.
And insist. And if one door closes, then another will open. You just have to continue knocking. It took me 7 years. And that's something, of course, I regret deeply. But somehow I needed that experience. I wasn't persistent enough.
Right.
We all are also very, I guess, what's the word? I don't want to say that we shouldn't trust doctors, but we should trust with caution.
Yeah.
That's my other message. A doctor is just a person with an education, with a degree. They are not God.
They're not infallible.
No, they are not infallible. And you know your body, and if you feel something is wrong, you have to pursue this. Don't listen to the doctors in this case from that perspective. Yeah.
Well, and what about people at home watching? If they're in the same situation, how do they have access to this hospital?
Yes, this is something I became, of course, very passionate about, because I met people from all over the world in that hospital, including actually people from Canada that were signed off to die because they opened them and closed. There was no solution here in Canada. So we would be referring people to the hospital and helping them to do triaging. We talked to doctors there. So I will invite everybody who is interested in that to visit this website. It's an email here. Okay, so the website is pathwaymedicine.com and the email is pathwaymedicine@yahoo.ca. So I can answer the questions, I can give all the details, and the way we are going to work is that after they, I guess, accept you as a patient, then after that they can contact the person and say, yes, you're accepted. So we are helping them at these initial stages to just cut down on their administrative, I guess, expenses and time, because they're a small private hospital, even though they've been doing it for over 25 years. So that's the way to connect with us. And also on a Facebook, you can find us under Cancer Solutions. On this website, which is pathwaymedicine.com, you can also go under Cancer Solutions. So there is information there, and people can forward their medical information. And my message is, if you have been diagnosed with cancer, even advanced cancer, inoperable, and you feel there is no solution, may not necessarily be true. I honestly have heard so many stories, because I've been there for 3 months.
Wow.
I've never seen, maybe once there was brain cancer. I've never seen no solution situation.
Really?
So, which is very, inspiring. Yeah.
There's hope.
Yes, there absolutely is hope. Yeah, you just have to open the right door. Of course, brain is if it's consumed too much, then.
Sure.
But other than that, really, we heard stories that are unbelievable, unbelievable from all over the world. So that's something I'm very passionate about, and I would love to help people. And as far as financing goes, of course, if somebody cannot afford it, we will be working with the charity now to help raise funds for treatments abroad. So we're looking for donations for that. And I actually still need to continue treatments, because as far as, I'd like to put it this way, as far as the tumor mass goes, it's gone. I am cancer-free, according to, let's say, Canadian standards. But there are circulating tumor cells that for some reason are not even, there is no test in Canada for that. So those ones I still have, but it's completely normal. So I am in full remission. However, I have to continue working on immune system, and for that I also need funds to finish this, because we got rid of the mass, but these circulating tumor cells, they're looking for location. We don't want to give them that. Yeah.
Well, and we love your passion and your enthusiasm for wanting to share this knowledge. And of course, you still are seeking treatment. And as I understand, you can go to crowdrise.com to helping Olga to make a donation to help her with her personal treatment, as well as to help spread the message to others who are in the same boat. And so we're asking, if you can support, please go to crowdrise.com, helping Olga, and make a donation.
Yes, that would be greatly appreciated. And like I said, if an organization would like to make a donation, we are working with the charity now, so it can be claimed off the taxes. And by all means, we are here to help. I think I went through this experience for sure, to be able to spread the word and to help others. But first I need to finish helping myself.
Yeah, take care of yourself. And if somebody wants to call you on the phone, what phone number can they reach you at?
Yeah, it's 403-398-6110. I guess I never called myself. 403-398-6110. There, I learned my business phone number. And it is a business phone number because, ironically, I am a holistic practitioner, have been for many, many years, but missed this a little bit. Didn't listen from the messages, to the messages from my own body, unfortunately, but yeah. So please feel free to connect with us, Facebook, website, and phone. We are here to help, but also asking for help.
Absolutely. Yes. Well, is there anything else you'd like to share today?
Well, no, I think I shared what I felt I could in this short period of time. Feels like it's been many years. Just don't lose hope.
That's right. Absolutely.
Simply don't lose hope. There is no need, there is no background. Nobody can tell you this is the scenario that I was given in Cancer Center here. Nobody can tell you that. Ultimately, nobody knows.
That's right.
You know, so
well,
that's the message.
What a perfect way to end the interview. Don't lose hope, and contact Olga at pathwaymedicine.com or pathwaymedicine@yahoo.ca for more information.
Thank you.